welcome back to another video, and today we have the event for Monster Jam sign-up series number 199. Now, before I introduce who's on the hangout, or before I even show the races up close, I'm going to very quickly read off all of the surprise entrances. So before the surprise entrances, there was a total of 82 people in the lineup, but we have 12 surprise entrances. So in total now, there are 94 trucks in the lineup, just short of 100. So hopefully for sign-up series 200, we can at least get 100 people. But anyways, without further ado, here are the 12 surprise entrances. So we have Ice Storm in Whiplash, Carrot Soup in the Ice Monster Mutt, Christopher Bergseth in Aftershock, Weebob24 in Stinger Unleashed, Cooper Phillips in Big Kahuna, Phoenix Plays Games in the Mystery Machine, Antonov God in the Fire Soldier Fortune Black Ops, Monster Jam Fanatic in the Ice Bakugan Dragonoid, Monster Jam Mayhem in the Fire Monster Mutt Rottweiler, Patrick the MJ Fan in Scooby-Doo, MythGamer07 in the Black World Finals Max D, and Grayson Davis will be in Brodo. And today I'm also on a hangout with Anthony7771, Mario Minecraft, Monster Jam Dallas, Monster Jam Collector Racing, and Monster Jam Fan 0311. And now Monster Jam Fanatic is here. But anyways, guys, now before we start the event, I've already read off all the surprise entrances and now shown who's on the hangout. So we're going to quickly show all of the races up close. So like I said, when I was reading off the surprise entrances, we have 94 trucks total in the lineup. A very big mix of Spin Masters, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks, and Hot Wheels Monster Jam Trucks. So if you guys don't know what truck you're in, make sure you go check out the Field of Trucks video. It was posted on Monday, just 2 days ago. So, yeah, here's the last couple of rows. And this is the final row right here, ending it off with Podium Crasher and the red Bakugan Dragonoid. So anyways, without further ado, we're already pretty far into this video. We're going to kick things off with the Ice Northern Nightmare taking on the Fire Gravedigger. Sign-up series 199 is underway. We're kicking it off with a Fire and Ice battle, and it's going to be Ice Northern Nightmare taking the win. Next up, we have the X-Ray Orange El Toro Loco taking on Pirate's Curse. And it's going to be a close race, but El Toro Loco X-Ray takes the win. Next up, we have a Hot Wheels Monster Trucks battle with the Blizzard Basher Skeleton Crew taking on Stars and Stripes. And it's going to be a close race, or at least it was at first, until Stars and Stripes flipped over, and that gives the win to the Blizzard Basher Skeleton Crew. Next up, we have Aftershock taking on Baja Buster. And sorry that it's out of focus there, I apologize for that, but Aftershock nonetheless is going to take the win. Next up, we have Bounty Hunter taking on the Nitro Neon's Megalodon. And it's going to be Megalodon getting the win. Next up, we have Slinger taking on the Green Ghost Gravedigger. And it's going to be Green Ghost Gravedigger. Next up, we have Bad News Travels Fast taking on the Flashback Inferno. And it's going to be Flashback Inferno. Next up, we have the Inverse Monster Mutt Dalmatian taking on World Finals 20. And what a race down to the end, and it's going to be World Finals 20. Next up, we have Carolina Crusher taking on Steer Clear. And it's going to be Steer Clear. Next up, we have Monster Mutt Rottweiler taking on the Fire Son of a Digger. And it's going to be Monster Mutt Rottweiler. Next up, we have the Glow-in-the-Dark Zombie taking on Stinger Unleashed. And it's going to be a close race, but Stinger is going to take the win. Next up, we have Overkill Evolution taking on X-Ray Prowler. And Overkill Evolution flips over, and that gives the win to Prowler. Next up, we have Horsepower taking on the World Finals Black Max D. And it's going to be Max D. Next up, we have your reigning champion Milk Monster taking on the Training Truck Zombie. And Milk Monster flips over. He ends up doing a wheelie because he landed it, but Zombie went way over there. And as you guys can see from the aerial view, just barely, right there, Zombie takes it. Next up, we have El Toro Loco taking on Ice Dragon. And it's going to be El Toro Loco. Next up, we have the Red Gravedigger taking on Big Kahuna. And it's going to be Big Kahuna. Next up, we have Fire Zombie taking on X-Ray Predator. And it's going to be Zombie. Next up, we have the Gold Bakugan Dragonoid taking on Monster Mutt Dalmatian Ice. And it's going to be a really close race, but what an upset win for the Gold Dragonoid. Next up, we have Exterminator taking on Monster Mutt Husky. And it's going to be, I think, Husky. Let's see. Just barely, Monster Mutt Husky takes the win. Next up, we have Nitro Neon's Max D taking on Obsessed. And it's going to be Nitro Neon's Max D with the upset win. Next up, we have Demo Derby taking on Loco Punk. And it's going to be Loco Punk. Next up, we have Fire Soldier Fortune Black Ops taking on Avenger. And it's going to be Avenger taking the win. Next up, we have Ice Monster Mutt taking on Time Flies. And it's going to be Ice Monster Mutt with a block. Next up, we have Hissy Fit taking on the Fire Horsepower. And it's going to be Fire Horsepower. Next up, we have Wildflower taking on the Red Crustacean. And Wildflower falls off the side. We're going to do a best 2 out of 3. So it is 1-0 to Crustacean. And, oh, either way, he's going to take the win with an insane block over Wildflower. Next up, we have War Wizard taking on Overcast Blue Thunder. And it's going to be... Oh, that is a close race. Let's go straight down to C. And just barely, it's going to be War Wizard. Next up, we have Fire Max D taking on the Hot Wheels Monster Truck Spider-Man. And good race, it's going to be Spider-Man. Next up, we have the Training Trucks Megalodon taking on Monster Mutt Dalmatian. And it's going to be Monster Mutt Dalmatian with a huge comeback. Next up, we have Whiplash taking on the 2018 Bone Shaker. And they both flip over. Oh, that's a close race. I think it might be Whiplash. Let's go straight down. Yes, it is. Just barely. Whiplash takes the win. Next up, we have Clydesdale taking on the Grandma Gravedigger. And it's going to be Clydesdale taking the win. He made it to the semis in Series 198, and he's looking for redemption here in Series 199. Next up, we have Inverse Gravedigger taking on Tiger Shark. And it's going to be the Inverse Gravedigger. Next up, we have Radical Rescue taking on the Fire Monster Mutt Rottweiler. And Radical Rescue flips over early. He saves it, but that gives the win to Monster Mutt Rottweiler Fire. Next up, we have Ice El Toro Loco taking on Scooby-Doo. And it's going to be Scooby-Doo. Next up, we have a Battle of the Ice Trucks. We have Earthshaker taking on Blue Thunder. And Earthshaker flips over. He lands on his roof. And that gives the win to Ice Blue Thunder. Next up, we have Jurassic Attack taking on Scorcher. And it's going to be Scorcher. Next up, we have Bad News Travels Fast Mud Treads taking on Octonator. And it's going to be Bad News Mud. Next up, we have AJ Styles taking on the Sick Stuff Loco Punk. And it's going to be AJ Styles. Next up, we have the Mystery Machine taking on All Fried Up. And it's going to be... I think that's the Mystery Machine. Let's go straight down. And yes, just barely, his right front tire is sticking out and he takes the win. Next up, we have Hooked taking on the Inverse Higher Education. And it's going to be Hooked. Next up, we have Cyclops taking on Medusa. And it's going to be Cyclops. Next up, we have The Rock taking on the Ice Alien Invasion. And, oh, what a block! The Rock takes the win. Next up, we have Nomad Avenger taking on Sriracha. And it's going to be Sriracha. Next up, we have Iron Outlaw taking on Fire Megalodon. And it is going to be a very good race, and Iron Outlaw takes the win. Next up, we have the Ice Dragonoid taking on Brodozer. And it's going to be Brodozer with a block. Next up, we have Test Subject taking on Bigfoot. And Test Subject rolls over. That gives the win to Bigfoot. Next up, we have Torque Terror taking on the Training Trucks Gravedigger. And it's going to be Gravedigger. The final race of round 1 until the Fast Loser race is going to be Podium Crasher versus the Red Bakugan Dragonoid. And it's going to be Podium Crasher with a block. So these 47 trucks have moved on to round number 2, but we need a Fast Loser race to see who will take on Podium Crasher. And the 2 trucks that I have selected are Nomad Avenger and the Red Pickup Gravedigger. And it's going to be the Red Gravedigger. Nomad Avenger had a terrible run, and that gives the win to Gravedigger. So here's a look at all 48 trucks that are in round number 2. And we are going to kick things off with the Ice Northern Nightmare taking on the Orange El Toro Loco X-Ray. Round 2 is underway. And the first winner is going to be El Toro Loco X-Ray. The Blizzard Basher Skeleton Crew taking on Aftershock. And it's going to be Aftershock. Next up, we have the Nitro Neons Megalodon taking on the Green Ghost Gravedigger. And it's going to be Green Ghost Gravedigger. Megalodon went way to the side. I'm not sure why, but that gives Gravedigger the win. Next up, we have Flashback Inferno taking on World Finals 20. And it's going to be Inferno with a block. Next up, we have Steer Clear taking on Monster Mutt Rottweiler. And it's going to be Monster Mutt Rottweiler. Next up, we have Stinger Unleashed taking on X-Ray Prowler. And what a race! But it's going to be Stinger Unleashed. Next up, we have the World Finals Black Max D taking on the Training Truck Zombie. And it's going to be Zombie with the comeback win. Next up, we have El Toro Loco taking on Big Kahuna. And it's going to be El Toro Loco. Next up, we have Fire Zombie taking on Gold Dragonoid. And it's going to be Zombie. Next up, we have Monster Mutt Husky taking on the Nitro Neons Max D. And it's going to be Monster Mutt Husky. We have Loco Punk taking on Avenger. And it's going to be Avenger. Next up, we have a Fire and Ice battle between the Ice Monster Mutt and Fire Horsepower. And it's going to be the Ice Monster Mutt. Next up, we have Red Crustacean taking on War Wizard. And it's going to be Crustacean. Next up, we have Spider-Man taking on Monster Mutt Dalmatian. And it's going to be Spider-Man. Next up, we have Whiplash taking on Clydesdale. And it's going to be Whiplash. Next up, we have the Inverse Gravedigger taking on Fire Monster Mutt Rottweiler. And it's going to be Monster Mutt Rottweiler. Next up, we have Scooby-Doo taking on Ice Blue Thunder. And it's going to be Ice Blue Thunder. What a race. We have Scorcher taking on Bad News Mud. And it's going to be Bad News Mud. Next up, we have AJ Styles taking on the Mystery Machine. And it's going to be the Mystery Machine. Next up, we have Hooked taking on Cyclops. And it's going to be Cyclops. Next up, we have The Rock taking on Sriracha. And it's going to be Sriracha. Next up, we have Iron Outlaw taking on Brodozer. And it's going to be Iron Outlaw. Next up, we have Bigfoot taking on the Training Trucks Gravedigger. And it's going to be... Man, that's a close race. But just barely, as you guys can see from the aerial view, Bigfoot takes the win. Final race of round number 2, we have Podium Crasher taking on the Red Gravedigger. And it's going to be Podium Crasher. So here are the trucks in round number 3. There are a total of 24 trucks remaining. And we are going to kick things off with the X-Ray El Toro Loco taking on Aftershock. Round number 3 is underway. And it's going to be El Toro Loco X-Ray. Next up, we have Green Ghost Gravedigger taking on Flashback Inferno. And it's going to be Green Ghost Gravedigger. Next up, we have Monster Mutt Rottweiler taking on Stinger Unleashed. And it's going to be a close race, and Stinger Unleashed will take the win. Next up, we have the Training Truck Zombie taking on El Toro Loco. And it's going to be a close race. I think that's going to be El Toro Loco. And as you guys can see right there, just by the tip of the tire, El Toro Loco gets the upset win. Next up, we have Fire Zombie taking on Monster Mutt Husky. And it's going to be Monster Mutt Husky. Next up, we have Avenger taking on the Ice Monster Mutt. And it's going to be Avenger. Next up, we have the Red Crustacean taking on Spider-Man. And it's going to be Crustacean with a block. Next up, we have Whiplash taking on the Fire Monster Mutt Rottweiler. And it's going to be Whiplash by a nose. Next up, we have Ice Blue Thunder taking on Bad News Mud. And it's going to be Bad News Mud. The Mystery Machine taking on Cyclops. And it's going to be the Mystery Machine. Next up, we have Sriracha versus Iron Outlaw. And it's going to be Iron Outlaw. And the final race of round number 3 is going to be Bigfoot versus Podium Crasher. And Bigfoot rolls like, I don't know, probably 4 times, and Podium Crasher takes the win. And now it is time for round number 4. We are down to 12, so after this round, we will go down to 6, but we're going to have 2 fast loser races to make it 8 to have an even bracket for the quarterfinals. So out of these 12, we still have 9 Spin Masters, so it's almost all Spin Masters, but there are still 2 Hot Wheels Monster Jam trucks, which are El Toro Loco X-Ray and Bad News Mud, and the lone remaining Hot Wheels Monster truck is Podium Crasher. So without further ado, in round number 4, we're going to kick things off with El Toro Loco X-Ray taking on the Green Ghost Gravedigger. One last thing I forgot to mention is next round is also when I will announce the field of trucks. But anyways, round number 4 is underway. And, oh, El Toro Loco X-Ray, I thought he was going to do like that, or I thought he was going to like land that moonwalk or whatever you would call it there, the stoppie or whatever, but anyways, the Green Ghost Gravedigger takes the win. Next up, we have Stinger Unleashed taking on El Toro Loco. And Stinger flips over and El Toro Loco takes the win. Next up, we have Monster Mutt Husky taking on Avenger. And Avenger takes the win. Next up, we have the Red Crustacean taking on Whiplash. And it's going to be Whiplash. Next up, we have Bad News Mud taking on the Mystery Machine. And it's going to be Bad News Mud. And the final race of round number 4 until the 2 fast loser races is going to be Iron Outlaw taking on the only Hot Wheels truck left between Hot Wheels Monster Trucks and Hot Wheels Monster Jam trucks, which is Podium Crasher. And Podium Crasher does not have a good run at all. and Iron Outlaw has a great run, and he takes the win. So here are these 6 trucks that are in round number 5, but like I said, we're going to have 2 fast loser races to make an even bracket for the quarterfinals. So 6 trucks just lost in that last round, but 4 out of those 6 get another chance now. And here are the 4 trucks that I have chosen. First things first, we're going to have Stinger Unleashed take on the Red Crustacean, and then we're going to have the Mystery Machine take on Podium Crasher. So first things first, we have Stinger Unleashed taking on the Red Crustacean. And it's going to be a great race, and Crustacean is going to edge him out. So who'll be the final person to move on to the quarterfinals? Is going to be the Mystery Machine or Podium Crasher? And it's going to be Podium Crasher. And now we are down to the quarterfinals of sign-up series number 199. Now, one mistake that I realized I made before those 2 fast loser races, I said there was no Hot Wheels trucks left, but I did make a mistake. I forgot that Bad News Mud is still in it, so there's actually 2 Hot Wheels trucks, Bad News Mud and Podium Crasher. But anyways, without further ado, let's go over the field of trucks. So inside of the Green Ghost Gravedigger, we have Andrea Smith. Inside of El Toro Loco, we have Grant K. Inside of Avenger, we have Monster Jam General. Inside of Whiplash, we have Ice Storm. Inside of Bad News Travels Fast Mud Treads, we have That One Guy. Inside of Iron Outlaw, we have Phoenix the Cool Kid. Inside of the Red Crustacean, we have Anthony 7771. And inside of Podium Crasher, we have Adam the Ultra Savage. So without further ado, who's going to be the first person to move on to the semifinals? Is it going to be Andrea Smith and the Green Ghost Gravedigger or Grant K and El Toro Loco? Quarterfinals is underway. The first truck to move on to the semis is going to be El Toro Loco. Next up, we have Avenger taking on Whiplash. And it's going to be Avenger. Next up, we have Bad News Mud taking on Iron Outlaw. And it's going to be Iron Outlaw. Who will be the final person to move on to the semifinals? Is it going to be the Red Crustacean or the only Hot Wheels truck remaining, Podium Crasher? It's going to be... Oh, that's close. But let's see. Just barely, it's going to be Crustacean. And now we are down to the semifinals of sign-up series number 199. So all 4 trucks are Spin Master trucks, no more Hot Wheels. So anyways, without further ado, let's go over the field of trucks. So for the first 2 trucks here, neither of them have ever won before, and neither have either of the drivers. We have Grant K and El Toro Loco and Monster Jam General and Avenger. Not too long ago, Monster Jam General did lose in the championship race. I don't remember what series it was, but it was pretty recent, so he's looking to rebound here and get his first ever win. Anyways, now Iron Outlaw is a 1-time championship truck, and it's being driven by Phoenix the Cool Kid, who's never won before. And the only 4 drivers here that's ever won is the driver of Crustacean, which is Anthony 7771. He's actually a 2-time champion looking to get his 3rd ever win. So anyways, here are the 4 trucks one last time, and who is going to be the first person to move on to the championship race? Is it going to be Grant K and El Toro Loco or Monster Jam General and Avenger? So who is it going to be? It's going to be Monster Jam General and Avenger. So sorry to Grant K, man. You were so close. Better luck in sign-up series 200, and maybe you will finally get your first ever win. But Monster Jam General and Avenger is in the championship race. Who is going to take on Monster Jam General in the championship race? Is it going to be Phoenix the Cool Kid and Iron Outlaw, who's never won before? Or is it going to be 2-time champion Anthony 7771 and the Red Crustacean? It's going to be Phoenix the Cool Kid and Iron Outlaw. So close to Anthony 7771 for getting your 3rd ever win. You haven't won in 29 series. Your last win came in series 170. So maybe series 200... 30 wins, or 30 series after your last win, maybe you can finally get it done. But so sorry, man, you were so close. But anyways, Phoenix the Cool Kid and Iron Outlaw, you were in the championship race. Ball dance. And now we are down to the championship race of sign-up series number 199, the final sign-up series until the big sign-up series 200. So inside of Avenger, we have Monster Jam General. That truck and driver have never won before. And then Iron Outlaw is a 1-time championship truck, but it's being driven by 0-time champion Phoenix the Cool Kid. So, no matter what happens here, we're going to have a new driver to win, but the question is, can Iron Outlaw get its 2nd ever title, or will Avenger get his first? Let's find out. Your winner of sign-up series number 199 is going to be none other than Monster Jam General and Avenger. He finally gets it done. He's been signing up for my sign-up series for probably like close to a year now, but he finally gets his first ever championship. Congratulations, man. Very well deserved. And as for Phoenix the Cool Kid, you also were close to getting your first ever win. Better luck inside at Series 200 where it's going to matter most. Maybe you can bring that momentum into Series 200 and get your first ever win. But anyways, guys, one last time, congratulations to Monster Jam General and Avenger for getting your first ever win. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure you guys do subscribe. And of course, leave a like on the video and turn on post notifications if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time.